The Chiefs' road to the Super Bowl starts right now. Well, it started a long time ago, but the end of the road, like we can see it from here. It's happening tonight. We have news from you, and this is your Q&A. So welcome to RGR Football. Here we go. Welcome back, Chiefs fans. And for those of you who are not Chiefs fans yet, welcome to the train. This is kind of where it starts. We'll call this Union Station. This is Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. This is RGR Football. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing fantastic. Sometimes, you wake up after a win like that and you take a second and you think about it and you're like, yeah, the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. It's just kind of like sets in a little bit there. And even though I was up at like 5 o'clock this morning, so I'm doing well, though. How you doing?
Having little kids will do that to you. It's a trade-off. Now they wake you up. In a few years, they'll start talking, and that's where my life went off that deep end. Now they all talk constantly, every day. And I know that some of them are watching, so I love you guys. That said, it's been a big day. Thank you for everyone who was on last night. I love the post-game ones. It was a record crowd. Hopefully we'll get a record crowd tonight as well. So we're looking for 1,300 people tonight. Let's see what we can get. If you want to support the channel, feel free. We would love it. You can hit the super chats or the super stickers. You can buy the t-shirts that you saw me in last night. You can do whatever you like. But if you do, leave us a super chat in particular. Please ask a question tonight. Tonight is the fan Q&A. We're trying to hit as much of your questions as we can. I know they'll overlap sometimes, and that's okay. But if you do super chat, make sure you get something for it because I want to get you something for your money right away. Members, we are going to have a stream tomorrow night. It looks like it's going to be a little bit delayed because I'm going to be interviewing Ian Wharton on this draft class. So you guys will want to hear that over on Locked On Chiefs. Yeah, a lot of great insight there. So we have a ton to go over. Today we got the confirmation of what Dan and I thought last night in that Eric Fisher is done for the year. Let's hope that it's just for the year. It is the dreaded Achilles tear rupture. It is gone. Much like we talked about last night, they're going to have to make do with that. Another interesting thing for me that came out today is Lil Cole Beasley played with a broken leg that whole game.
Yeah. For multiple games, actually. I think he broke it a while ago.
Oh, I didn't see when that happened to him.
I think that I may have just seen a tweet. I don't know if it was confirmed, but it said that he played through at least 2 games with it. Like he just played through it.
That's crazy. Man, good for him. I mean, it's rough to lose Eric. We talked about it last night of what the impact is going to be and that it is going to be huge. But hey, that takes a lot of guts to go out there on a broke leg. So let's see.
And Prince Tewanoga was also released today.
Oh, I had missed that. I must have been busy. That's unfortunate. You bring him in, you get to go. Yeah, I was going to say that tells you about where somebody's at. So we won't dwell on that. We'll get into the questions here real quick. If you're one of the members, like I said, delayed tomorrow, but I will have the stream. We'll do the Zoom here the week before the Super Bowl, so keep that in mind. And folks, if you want to become a member, you get some bonuses in here. You get the tags and you get the emojis and that kind of stuff. And then you get extra videos. You get behind the scenes where we're a little more frank with our discussions. And then that goes all the way up to having Zooms and one-on-ones with us. So if you're interested, you can click the join button down below and check that out. Right off the bat, let's get to a member question because Jeremy's here. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Will our defense get some respect now that they're going to the Super Bowl? Doesn't seem like it to me. I didn't hear a word about them all dang day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I saw. Whenever the Chiefs do stuff like this and they blow out really, really good teams, I go out of my way to try to listen to everything that I can about the national media just so that I can hear everybody, backpedal, and then everyone actually see what they're supposed to be talking about, which is exactly what it is. And a lot of the credit goes to Steve Spagnuolo. Like, that's a lot of what I've seen, especially over the last 2 years, the transformation from Bob Sutton to this defense now is really, it's night and day. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're built to play in the postseason. They're physical. They're bigger corners that play physical. You can get flagged a lot in the regular season, which I've said multiple times. I don't care so much. and it's not going to get called as much in the postseason.
Yeah, it is a nice thing. I work a day job too, so I didn't have that luxury to go listen on purpose. I listened to the few sources that I generally do, and I didn't hear a peep. It was silence. So I think that is just ignoring the fact that they overlooked him. So good point, Jeremy. I appreciate that. First super chat of the night, Daryl Miller. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Old member who's talking about the old goat versus the new goat. Yeah, and Nate Burleson's bit about the definition of a kid that was pretty good. Good for him. I wonder what kind of websites you're looking at to find all this goat information, Nate. But that's just my thought. Do what you got to do.
Google's it.
Knock on wood. Let's hope so. JR, the good news is that you saw them finish a game last night with a group of guys that can play, and that's most likely what you're going to see in 2 weeks as well.
Yeah, I am going to be doing a specific article during the bye week on the Chiefs' offensive line outlook, because I had so many requests for it today. So we're going to look at their options, what their starting line is going to look like, and probably the depth behind it. We'll do some film on it, because I may be out on a limb, but I'm actually quite confident that if they continue to do what they did, especially against the Bills, with a ton of RPOs, short, quick passing game, and letting Mahomes do everything within a short amount of time, you're going to see a lot of the same things we saw against the Bills and that we've seen early in the season, is that they can still have a very effective offense and not have to worry so much about the offensive line holding up for 3 or 4 seconds. Sometimes you will need that, but again, the short pass game is really going to help set up and help slow down the pass rush of the Buccaneers. So we're going to look at all of that during the bye week.
It's definitely something they have to emphasize, and I think that's what you saw Tyreek do with what was a medium pass. You could even call it a short pass, and that's what they need to try to hit on, especially if what I expect is that Todd's going to back everybody off and they're going to go into a cover 2 or a cover 3, maybe in a 6 shell, because of how decimated it got last time. You're not going to see Carlton Davis on Tyreek one-on-one in man anymore.
You know what? I think you will at least 1 or 2 times in that game. I'm actually willing to bet you're going to see somebody man coverage on Tyreek Hill, because they blitz about like 40% of the time. The Buccaneers do. And when you do that as much as they do, it's kind of a natural thing to just call the game the way that you're comfortable playing. If they start playing more zone and don't blitz as much, I think you're going to see way more coverage breakdowns, and that's where the big plays are going to come in. And so they're going to have to really find a medium in this defensive scheme game plan to figure out what they're going to do. They're so comfortable in man coverage and blitzing that it might be dangerous to go more zone.
It may be, and you may be right. I just have a feeling that Todd's gonna like flip
the
whole other way.
Kind of have to. I think they really do kind of have to.
There should be a serious fear factor there. So let's hope. And that brings us to Frederick's question. I won't say that it's an easier matchup. I don't think so. I don't think that's secondary, especially if they're down the safeties, and they both got injured yesterday. So we'll see what happens in the next week. I don't feel like that secondary is up to par with what San Francisco had, even with Sherman and Sammy doing what he did to him. And I do feel that at least Bosa, I feel, is probably better than anybody on this front. JPP 100%. Is playing well. Okay, I'm glad I'm not crazy there. But maybe as a unit across the whole thing, they're close on the front. Maybe not even that close.
They're comparative. They're comparable. I'll give them comparable, because you have 2 very good front sevens. I think that Devin White's game has picked up. He's still a liability in coverage. He gets a lot of tackles, and there's a reason for that. He's having to usually run plays down. He's not breaking plays up, and I think that a lot of people look to tackles as a definitive way to measure a player's linebacker, specifically a linebacker's production, and that's not necessarily the best way to go about it, especially against the Chiefs, who you're going to get guys lined up against Devin White in coverage. You saw it in the first game. They used the RPO to perfection against White. He bit on so many run plays. They had guys wide open in the middle of the field. So it's a very comparable front seven in terms of you have Warner from the linebacker one of the linebackers from the 49ers last year, and you have I'm forgetting his name. It's not Devin White.
Or Levante David.
Levante David, yeah, David. You have 2 very good two very good linebackers that patrol and police that front seven. So I can understand the comparativity. I think that their secondary, the 49ers secondary, is better than the Bucs, especially because we already have seen them. So you never know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But overall, I would say that the Chiefs are a better team right now. I think the offense is on par, and I feel like the defense has taken some steps forward. Yeah. You disagree in any way?
I think that Spags has taken a step forward. His play calling has matured over the season, and it's been incredible in the postseason.
Oh, and I will tell you guys this. Cheers to you. This is a maple brown of my own creation that just finished getting carved. So no can to show you tonight, but hey, cheers. Alex, I would say it's always the quarterback that has a better shot at the MVP. You'd have to really go you'd have to go out of your way and feed him even more than what he did last night, to tell you the truth. JT, we talked about the O-line. Metal Rocker, what do you got? Good to see you, my friend. Do you think Darryl will be involved more often next year? And do you think the defense played last time? I thought the defense was great last night. Even the linebackers, I thought, were not a weak point. They got plenty of pressure across the front. Tano with 4, Frank with 4, and obviously Chris being Chris. Mm-hmm. The fourth guy in pressure production last night, by the way, was L'Jarius Snead.
Yep, he was.
Say that out loud. So overall, I think they're doing pretty well rounded. And yes, I think Darryl will be back. I think Darryl will play again, second fiddle to Clyde in the beginning. And when the inevitable injury comes or he needs a week off, you're going to see exactly what they did here. The question will be, I think it'll be Damian as the guy that's pushing, and I think Lev will probably have moved on at that point.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be Clyde, Damian, and Darryl, because I think that Damian provides that home run hitting. So I think that you're going to want to change pace more with that kind of speed, and that's just kind of how I see that right now.
Yeah, and you may absolutely be right. We'll just have to see what kind of shape Damon's in.
Yeah,
a year off is a
that will exactly that'll be the telling story.
Matt Mitchell, thank you very much, folks. If you would smash the like and the sub button if you're not already, that always helps. Matt Francis, 4 Pro Bowl alignment on the shelf going in this one. Yeah, it's tough. You got 1 starter left, guys. 1 starter out of 5. Oh, and Jeff Reporter's in the house as well as Aaron. Everybody's in here tonight. We'll get to Nilo back for the members chat tomorrow night, you guys. And what was the most important aspect of the offense that helped KC win the game yesterday? I will say resilience on McCole Hardman's part in particular.
Yeah, this is 100% Patrick Mahomes pre-snap reads. That's what it is. The quick game, the quick passing game, because of what the Bills were doing defensively, a lot of soft shell coverages, these zone coverages early, and through the most part of the game, he was able to identify exactly where to go with the football 95% of the time. He did it quickly, he did it efficiently, and he did it accurately. You could see exactly what he was doing within the first 2 seconds of a snap. It's just, he's incredible.
Yeah, I agree with you. Will he be back? I think he will, Joel. We can't say for certain. We'll know when they start practicing. So let's hold tight for a bit. Gary, what do you see Snead doing in the Super Bowl this year? I'm going to tell you, he's going to pick off a pass. Yes, he will be there. I have faith that he can recover in the next 2 weeks. I do expect him to be there, and I think he will make a splash and get an INT.
We've seen Tom Brady, guys. He just threw 3 picks last week. I know that it was in the cold, but Tom Brady's arm is it's not exactly what it used to be. We'll just say that.
There's a song in the back of my head about that. I'm going to try not to sing it. How many yards will Mahomes have against an aggressive Bucs defense? 428.
That's a very specific number. I'm going to go 350 plus. It's going to be he's going to be up throwing the ball quite a bit in this game.
Yeah, I'd love to say, hey, they're going to hurt him with the run and do it. They're not.
They're not, because the Bucs front is going to stop the run. They're going to stop the run.
And more power to him. So the play action is going to be huge, you guys. Michael, that's the problem, is for a guy that age, and particularly a lineman with that much weight, sometimes this does turn out that way. That said, Eric's a very good athlete at the position, so I will not say that it definitely is. We're going to see how he does. I think that he can make a comeback.
Yeah, I don't really have a clue how this is going to go. We don't know anything about when his surgery is going to happen, if he's going to even be healthy enough to play at any point next year. That's one of the more really interesting topics to talk about, because this could be he could be done 2021 season for all we know. He could not play again until 2022, and that's really, it's hard to tell with these lower body injuries with offensive linemen. And even if he does play, he might not be back to close to 100% until 2022. So it's it's a very difficult injury, but I got the utmost faith in Fisher to come back from it.
This is a significant one. And we saw Mike DeVito come back from one. It's very difficult for linemen in particular. So just play it by ear. We'll see how he feels. I was impressed that he was still on the field for the trophy ceremony last night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pain management, he's a tough dude. Mm-hmm. He's played through a lot of injuries in his career. I think that he'll be able to put in the rehab work and get back. That's just my thought. So, Fenton will get more playing time, Josh, because of the Snead injury, whether it's, full replacement or not. I think Snead will play. I don't think he'll be like up to his full, 90% of the snaps like we've seen in the past, but who knows?
I don't know. I think that's the fact that he was pretty active after the game, and he said he thinks he'll be fine. I think Snead might just be a full go in 2 weeks. I think he should be more than okay.
Yeah, let's hope so. We pick up an O-lineman before the bowl. I don't think there's nobody out there. That's the thing.
That, and you're not going to bring somebody in that has to go through COVID protocol. They have to know the system already, essentially. It's just not the best situation. They're just going to use the guys on their practice squad.
Yeah. Ruthless, I thought it was Juan's best game of the year. It's the best game since he got hurt. And I think you saw Juan be Juan last night. I'm really encouraged about him.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Juan Thornhill for this week's film review, guys. Just that little heads up there. I'm so excited to watch how he play because I got actual goosebumps watching him come downhill and in coverage. It was literally exactly what we saw last year when he was making plays. And he should have had that pick. It was so close.
I'm so pumped. Scott, no, Wiz will not be playing tackle. No. Wiz will be in there at right guard. Remmers will be over on the left. Wiley will be at right. Especially now without Prince, which was kind of the X factor because I'd never seen him practice. He could have been good and I wouldn't know it. But you have Rankin, you have Durant that are two of depth tackles that might be able to go. I still think that Rankin's a guard, so that's just me. But
I agree. I have always thought he was a guard. And again, I know a lot of people are talking about Rankin. We just don't know what he is. I feel the need to continuously point that out because you had 2 games last year. He got hurt, and we don't know. We don't have a clue.
Yeah, he's just a question mark. Daryl, you are the man. I appreciate that, especially down in Florida because I just like to make people crazy. What is that? That's my favorite question. Thank you, Daryl. Joe, can we get the critical pressure on Brady? Yes. It's going to be difficult, but I'm not one that's terribly impressed with Jensen myself. And I think, especially if you bring Chris down a little bit farther inside and let him get in where he can be a shade inside of the guard and attack the A-gap, I love that concept.
Yeah. Kenny Clark's a really, really good defensive tackle for the Packers. Chris Jones is twice the pass rusher he is. It's particularly not close.
Yeah.
And Chris Jones has been doing nothing but demolishing interior offensive lines forever. So he's going to have himself a fun day against Tom Brady. And I know that Frank Clark has got some beef with Tom. So let's just say that he's going to have himself a nice little day, I think.
Ryan Conley, did you see are you saying that Saunders played a snap? I thought he was inactive because if he wasn't active. Okay, good. I was panicked because I was like, if he played and I missed it, I was going to be pissed. But no, he's not a linebacker, but he is a defensive tackle. You can stand up. That's rare enough. Yeah. And there is the triangle of destruction that I think can still happen here, people.
If he dropped 50 pounds, he could be a linebacker.
If he dropped 30, he's in good shape. You know Probably. What I mean? I'm telling you.
He's in position. He's got all of it down, man. He looks so good.
I'm telling you.
So good.
Virginia, it's a concern, but I'm not going to say it's a worry. All of these guys have played. Remmers, we like Wiley better at tackle.
I really do. I really do.
And the fact that Wiz is now on the field, I think upgrades guard as well. So in our books, if we were making the calls here, the only thing different we'd do is put Kilgore in.
Yeah. But at this point,
you
really don't have a choice but to play Ryder.
Yeah. It is what it is. Joe, which corners are taking who? They don't take assignments. Ward does not change sides. Breland doesn't like to. So you're going to have Ward on the left, Breland on the right. It'll be Snead and Tyron roaming around who's going to drop in the slot and who might take the fourth. I think it's going to be interesting. And then Fenton.
This is an interesting prospect because if you don't say Antonio Brown doesn't play again, in the rest of the postseason. He didn't play in this last game, and we don't actually know what's going to happen. Even if he does, he might not be 100%, but he hasn't actually looked like Antonio Brown because he hasn't played in a year plus. So really this comes down to being able to body up Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, two bigger receivers. This works perfectly for the way that the Chiefs want to play on defense. You just let Breeland and Ward be physical. They should be fine.
Yeah, and if they try to bring Godwin down into the slot and let him run, Snead should be there, and I'm more than comfortable with that matchup.
Yeah, Godwin's not nearly as quick as Beasley.
And the one that scares me is little Scotty Miller because he's deceptive. He caught Kevin King not paying attention and
they were in cover one. They were in cover one with 1 second left.
I know that, but King could have had him just fine, but he lost mental focus on that because he's a little dude and no one's scared of him.
And King's bad.
Well,
Kevin King needs to go retire after what happened to that game.
Kevin King has not developed as I thought that or in hope that he would, to tell you.
It was also a contract year for him.
I know. Which means if they let him go, bring him in cheap because I think he could be. I'm just telling you that right now.
Makes sense.
William, I think we've covered that. Just basically what we said before. Appreciate the super chat, and sorry we answered it before we got to you. Metal Rocker, do you remember? I remember you saying that they'll do 1 or 2 O-line picks. Which round do you see them picking them, and what colleges? I don't know what colleges. I haven't broken them down. There is a slew, and luckily, the more that I do look at general film, I haven't narrowed in on it. I think the tackle class is going to have some options for them.
Very deep tackle class.
And with the Fisher injury, it has to be one of them. And I think no later than the second round at this point.
They need another tackle, especially because we don't know if either of them come back next year. Schwartz might not play another down in the NFL. Fisher might not play next year. Like, you don't have – it could be a nearly brand new offensive line we're looking at next year. You got to start getting talent in there.
You're absolutely right. Adam Daughtry, I got yours, but it was blank. So thank you for the super chat, but come back and ask a question. Let's see who's next. Nipper Girl, I missed yours and I've scrolled too far. So she asked, what's our biggest advantage over Tampa Bay? And that is the wide receiver group, in my opinion.
It's 2 guys. It's Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey. Those two, I mean, because Travis Kelsey is essentially a wide receiver. They don't have anybody that can cover them. And they're going to have to double one or both of them at any point in time in this game. Because as you've seen, it doesn't matter if you play coverage. Like the Bills tried to drop 6 or 7 and play rush with 4, and it just didn't work because Mahomes has now developed that pre-snap read and post-snap read, and knowing where defenders are going to be on the field. You have to bracket Hill, you have to double Kelsey, you have to start chipping him. The Bills never chipped Travis Kelsey in that game. They never did. He was a free release the whole time.
Well, and Matt Milano's a coverage linebacker. He's a good coverage linebacker. But they made the mistake of assuming that meant you can cover Travis Kelsey. Coverage linebackers can't do that. Devin White, you can't do that.
You can't do it.
Going to work, okay? So there's a difference between being a coverage linebacker and being somebody who can cover the best tight end in the game because, like you said, Dan, he is a big tight end. That's what big wide receiver in a tight end position. That's what he is. That said, I like Sean Murphy-Bunting, and he's been coming on. I think he's been making some big plays, so he's somebody to pay attention to. But Carlton Davis got smoked by Devontae Adams and then decided to chirp at him on social media. That's not how you win ball games, bro.
No, he was chirping at Michael Thomas.
I didn't think so, not from what I saw.
But Michael Thomas went at him after he got locked down by Carlton Davis because of that touchdown that Adams scored, which makes absolutely no sense. He snapped back at Carlton Davis like that was a slant, and he was like, I'll come back up and I'll lock you up right now because he did it in the divisional game. Like, what does he talk? Why would you bother getting on Twitter to talk crap to someone who legitimately held you to zero catches, Michael Thomas?
I was going to say, if your paycheck says NFL on it, don't get on Twitter. Just don't. It hurts.
Especially if you're sitting at home.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that. Okay, let's see. I missed Neil here. I got a couple to make up for. So, Neil, can the Chiefs get some can they get pressure on Brady? Yes, they can. You're going to see more blitz, but I also think that there's a matchup or two that they can take advantage of one-on-one.
Yeah, they're just letting you know the super chats aren't showing up on the screen, at least not for me. I don't know if you can see them.
That's because I'm too far behind.
Oh, okay. No big deal.
We'll get to them, folks. I'm trying to catch up.
Go.
So yeah, they have some matchups. Chris Jones is a matchup they can exploit.
Yes,
and I'm going to say it now. I think Frank's on the rise. I think he's ready. I wish he hadn't waited this long.
I 100% agree. I watched him against the Browns and I was not impressed. He played much better against the Bills.
Oh, and Andy, row harder. I know you're working out right now. Thanks for watching. Have you noticed? I'm sorry, this is from Justin Rhodes. Thank you for the super chat, as always. Have you noticed an increased amount of players blowing a tire on the Arrowhead service? Is there a problem with the footing, or am I making this up? You're not making it up, but I think it's condition-based. I know there's some moisture in the air or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't see anything problematic with the surface, so I think they're okay. And quite frankly, they got 8 months to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, Tyreek, for the most part, didn't blow a tire on his multiple cuts and jabs and going this way and that way. So I think it's more about where you step and how you step.
Wolverine, want to get yours. From what you've seen so far, what is the ceiling for all of our rookies this year? So we both think Snead is a number one. Obviously, Clyde is a number one. I think I would have loved to see Willie not get hurt because I feel like he was on the rise.
Yeah.
I think it'll be him and Hitch next season. That's my thought.
I think it has to be. You don't really have a choice with Hitch, and especially the way he's been playing. Like, he's been playing like a legitimate Mike. Like, I've been very happy with his play. And you get him on the field, you can play much more nickel as well, which is what they're best in. It's literally, they're one of the best nickel defenses in the NFL, in my opinion, with the way they can use multiple safeties and get Snead on the field. So I think it's really a match made perfectly because he can then learn the Mike position from Hitchens, who's been playing it really to a T.
And look for them to either sign a low cost linebacker in free agency or draft another one. I'm not sure about the drafting based on where they're going to have to pick in their priorities, but just keep an eye out. Matt Milano's a free agent. Just want to throw that out there. Super chat from Ian Roberts. Sorry I missed you, Ian, and thank you as always because I know you were really consistent. Did Kelsey put to rest the argument that he can't block and that he's just he's not a complete tight end? He made a couple of monster blocks. Yeah, we both needed no convincing, but I think he's put the rest of the league on notice.
I just think it's funny that people don't really watch him block. You can tell by the way that they just ignore when he actually blocks. Like he would line up people forget against the Bills earlier this year, he lined up at fullback. He was a fullback.
Yeah.
He can block, guys. He can block.
And make no mistake, they've gone to the underhand, smoke sausage stampede play on purpose because now the Bucs have to practice against that over and over and over. I don't expect to see it next time. I expect to see Pat in motion and let him do something else. I'm really intrigued by that particular setup because I think it was all set up.
Yeah. They're going to have some weird play off of it.
Will Gay and the rest of the injured minus Fish be ready in 2 weeks? I can't say that for certain. I think Snead will be back. I think Armani Watts is going to be okay. I don't know about Willie.
Yeah, he's the only one that we don't really know about. High ankle sprains are finicky.
I'm not sure about Lev either, though, to tell you the truth.
Honestly, I don't really think they need Le'Veon Bell.
And if they do, it's an emergency thing.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks rest on that knee will help him. I think it's going to be okay. But
I think he'll be active. I don't think he plays, but much if at all.
Fair enough. Adam, Bucs use Gronk for a lot of blocking, and it's working hitting Brady. Can we get past without sacrificing DB blitzes?
I think you can, but he's going to blitz. He's going to blitz Brady. You get immediate pressure on Brady, guess what's going to happen? Either he's going to throw it up and you're going to come down with the interception, or he's going to get hit. That's it. Like, those are the two things that are going to happen.
Yeah. And that overload dipsy do thing that they did last night with Sorensen and Tyrant, like, good Lord, stand that all day at him. Let him make a choice. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I sit back on the couch and smile, you guys.
Just jam them at the line and then just send them because what are they going to do? Where's the ball going, Tom?
Morbian, there are nights where my whole life is a Nirvana song. I'm just telling you. I don't know what that one was, but hey. How do we neutralize Pierre Paul in the pass rush? You run him out of the pocket. You try to make him try to come back inside and give him some help. It requires the guards to have their heads on a swivel. And again, that's why I like Witz. And I think Allegretti's come along. The greatest thing about them calling out Allegretti is now they know that they have to send more against the run.
Yeah.
That linebacker has to pay more attention to him than I think that they've seen on film recently. But he's also got to be one to be on a swivel to go help Remmers. I think he and Remmers need to like get in a pod and not separate for the next 10 days.
They're going to have to, because I think that those working together is going to be the way you neutralize him. I think Remmers is up to the task of beating JPP for the most part. He's probably going to get his, and the life of a tackle is you're going to lose a lot. You just kind of how it is. You're always in recovery, trying to guess what an offensive or defensive edge is going to do. So I like the matchups, and I know that people might think I'm crazy, but I think Andrew Wiley is going to shut down Shaq Barrett. I think he's going to shut him down.
I mean, if they leave him out there, I'm confident in that as well. I think they're going to flip a lot more. And I'll give JPP this, despite, being four-fingered Joe, I don't think that he can he's lost much with that pole arm. And I think that is one thing that can get to Wiley, to tell you the truth. So
I really switched that up. Shaq Barrett's more of a speed guy. I think that's probably going to be kind of essential against Andrew Wiley, because the times where he gets beat,
it's with his feet, right?
Outside going inside. Like, it's a lot of outside going inside. So that might be how you do that. And you're going to have Wiz, like you said. It's great to have him in with his head on the swivel, because he gets his head on that swivel.
I mean, that's what veteran experience does. That's why he's here. Avery, how are you? Oh, wait, did I miss Pono, or was that Pono's question? I clicked off of it. Sorry. Oh, no. How do we neutralize him? And it is by help. I don't think you have to chip with JPP. Everyone seems to be really high on him. I'm not that impressed. He got some pressure in the last meeting. And yes, that was some rushes on Remmers, some rushes on Fish. But he wasn't, demonstrative. He didn't make the whole offense pay attention to him. So
no, it's more the interior that got dominated.
I'm blasé on JPP myself.
Yeah, Vita Vea is a huge addition back to that defensive line.
I'm way more scared of Vita.
Yes. I'm scared of. He's the guy I'm most scared of.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. So, Pono, sorry I missed you there. I want to make sure I get back to you. Avery, thank you, as always. Possible Super Bowl MVP for Chiefs, not named Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill, or called Honey Badger. Snead.
No, it's going to be Thornhill.
Oh, I like both those options.
And
I'll tell you this.
Come away with 2 picks and kind of get it, I would think.
I'll tell you this. If he's 100%, it could be Sammy Watkins.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very good sneaky pick.
Telling you what
happened when you double Hill, you double Kelsey. Guess what? Sammy Watkins is going to burn you.
Yeah, it's going to be sad. Like Carlton, if you had a bad game last time, watch out. Ian, why do we put Matthew in at free safety so much in the red zone goal line? Not complaining, but just curious. Was it just to use Thornhill's speed for safety blitzes? Actually, Thornhill's not that much faster than, if I remember, their 40s. Now, granted that Tyron's older now, so that isn't a 1-to-1 ratio, but honestly, it's because Tyron has to dip around a lot of blocks, especially in tight, where you might get double tight ends or linemen pulling or whatever. Whereas Juan's a bigger body. Juan can take on a little bit more. I think that's mostly the reason.
Better weaving ability as a free safety in the red zone than a Thornhill who doesn't know the game as well as Matthew.
And is quite frankly more of a straight line athlete in generalities. So yeah, I think that's mostly it, and I can't tell you for certain, but that's my take on it. And Dan will tell me if I'm being dumb. Dan's not afraid to tell me I'm dumb. It's all right.
I would never say that. Wrong, maybe, but not dumb.
Hot and spicy. What content can we expect from you in the off season? It's getting close to the end. Let's not talk about it as the end, my friend. It's the start of a new year. It's like that line from, Black Hawk Down. We started a whole new year. So what we're going to do is we'll shift over, about 48 hours after the Super Bowl. We'll start giving you our takes on the draft season. Now, first, I'm sure Dan will get heavy into the film and we'll just let him do his thing. He'll give you film reviews. I'll go straight into free agency, start breaking all that down. I will be covering the Senior Bowl this year, so I'll have some draft choices early as well. And I do put a lot of faith into Senior Bowl performances. I take that from what the Chiefs do, quite frankly. They're very heavy on emphasizing that, and I will as well. And then we'll get into draft research, where we're both watching film. We're doing our grades. Jeff Porter is going to be running analytics intake for us this year, as always. And thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you more than I ever say, or I should say a lot more. So we'll have the matrix, as always, to estimate athleticism. But without the combine this year, it's going to be a little bit different. So what we're also going to do is we're going to step up the mock drafting. Everybody loves mock drafts, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll both do one, either alternatingly. In fact, you guys tell us. Leave in the comments on the regular show, not in the super chat or in the live chat, because I'll never see that. There's too many.
I didn't give it to her. I asked her.
Do you want one mock a week, or do you want one mock a week from each of us? Because I think that would be very telling about how we go about building this team. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on team building this year, because right now they're 18 over the salary cap for next year. They have to make some room. And you guys aren't going to like the way that I think it's going to have to go. But we'll get to that later. So that's exactly what you can find. And when I find those gems, and so you guys know, I found L'Jarius Snead the first time that he stood out to me was at the Senior Bowl. And that's why when I watched Amik Robertson, he stood out on tape, and I made sure to go watch him. When we find those guys, we will let you know, because they are the diamonds in the rough.
And they're very good at finding those guys, obviously, with Tershawn Morton being a huge part of that.
Which drives me insane. I just want to say it. If I had more resources, that wouldn't have been a surprise. Adam, do you expect Dr. LDT to come back and be as good as he was? Yes. He has said he's returning, and I actually think the year off will have helped him. Yeah. I would like to see him actually drop a couple of pounds. I think he's plenty strong. I want to see his feet get a little bit quicker. So that's what I'd be emphasizing.
That was one of the big areas where he struggled last year. Just he can't pick up his feet as much as quick as he used to be able to, and he was getting run by a lot for that specific reason. And I expect him to come back and be quite good, especially if they get Schwartz back. Like, I think that's those two together are a very good combo when they're up and they're playing.
And Doc Larry, if you happen to see this, come up to altitude. I'll train you for a couple of weeks. We'll see what we can do. I have worked, quite frankly, in my career as a strength and conditioning coach, I've worked more with offensive and defensive linemen than I have with skill positions. So I am very familiar with that. Jacob, Kelsey Hill, best duo of all time?
Yes.
Well, dang, you go ahead and say it. I ain't there yet.
I will. I have no fear of saying this, because Travis Kelsey is the greatest tight end of all time, and Tyreek Hill is literally the most dangerous wide receiver ever in the history of the NFL. Ever.
Well,
dangerous. Yes.
Willie Gault was pretty dangerous. I would still probably take Dwight Clark and old man Jerry Rice, but that's me.
No, I mean, there's nothing to take away from him, but Tyreek's he's just different.
He is. Scott, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Do you see them signing an O-lineman this week? No, I don't think, unless they're worried about the Prince departure, no. I don't think so. Leon, thank you for your super chat. We appreciate it. Come back, ask a question though here. I know I'm a good Lord, I'm 20 minutes behind. All right, we got to pick up the pace here. Here we go. We're going to try to hit all the questions. We're definitely hitting all the super chats, folks. Would love to see Tyreek seal the epic catch with a TD run. Yes, I mean, I would always love to see that. I'll just watch the guy's training videos. I like to watch him run. Yes, Josh, we are 100% with you. Absolutely. Do you think Wiz will start? Yes. Let's see. Do you see the sausage shuffle again, Virginia? I hope so. I really do, because I mean, Travis got a couple now. Let's get the fullback back involved, please.
He'll score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Cody, thank you for your super chat and the compliment. The run game is what it is. I think what you're seeing is that it is about desire. I feel like since the couple weeks off, I feel like the O-line is blocking a little bit better, a little bit more. And I think Daryl's running harder. I don't take anything away from Clyde, but I think Daryl's like out to prove something.
Well, yeah, he's also fully healthy, so that makes a big difference. I think that Clyde's just trying to get back into it. And a lot of times when he was tackling the backfield, guys were getting pushed back just immediately back. Like, that's just bad luck too.
Yeah. Scott, I'm glad that Fenton's back there. And I told this story on Locked On today. You guys can hear it on the podcast. And please go listen to the podcast. I need that as well. As soon as that ball was tipped and I saw it going into his hands, my first thought was, don't hurt your ankles.
Just run.
Yeah, just run straight ahead. Don't cut. Don't do anything nasty. So I'm glad that he's all right. And sorry about the focus here, folks. My camera's got a mind of its own. So it really likes the NFL 100 book. I'm just going to tell you that. What's the nature of Willie Gay's injury, and will we see him back? It is, a lower leg. It's a high ankle sprain is what it is. And you never know when or how that's going to heal. So we just have to play it by ear.
Could be active.
I mean, if it were anybody else, if it was anybody besides a rookie, I'd say, deal with some pain, get your butt out there and play. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole career in front of them, that Super Bowl or not. I mean, but then again, you have guys like Aaron Rodgers who go to Super Bowl and don't make it back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is something to be said for pushing through some pain now as well. But the good thing is, depending on where it is, it's not necessarily something that can get worse. So knock on wood. All right, we're looking for questions. Adam, how are you? Will the secondary be elite next year? The secondary is going to look different, I think. At least one of the starting outside corners is going to be gone, and they have to look for more depth. So I'm not ready to say that myself.
Now, this is be based around the scheme of Steve Spagnuolo. It makes them look better than they are, to be honest with you, and that's really what it comes down to right now. They're not on their own individually like great secondary members, except for Matthew and Thornhill.
Yeah. Scott, that's really the question. I don't think so. I think they have to keep and bring back Breeland, and I think that he will. What do you think, Dan?
That's what I'm hoping. I think they got some pull with Breeland. Like this scheme is perfect for him. It's literally built for Bashaud Breeland. Like he's perfect in it. So I'm hoping that he realizes that, yeah, he could go get more money, right? Like a bit more money right now, but he's got chances to win more Super Bowls and just be exactly the cornerback that he is in this system.
Yeah, I agree. Masterpiece. Yeah, it all depends on how it falls. I think the Chiefs, unless they fall for somebody like they fell for Clyde, who I do still feel a running back in the first round is not what I would ever do.
Yeah.
Unless you fall for somebody, and everybody gets a crush, man. So if there is a tackle there, then yes, but it's hard to say whether that tackle is going to be the best guy on the board at that point. And I think unless they fall for somebody, they will follow their board.
Yeah, it's going to come down to just what they feel at the time. And like you said, the board is going to dictate just about everything. You don't want to reach for a guy who's not really going to do as much as you expect a first-round pick to do. And I get that they're going to be picking 31 or 32. So now we get to talk more about value of first-round draft picks here and there. So it is what it is. I think that offensive line is going to be top priority first or second round. I think they have to.
Yeah, it's got to be now. Dubba, what do you got here? Do you have a feeling that defensive ends are assigned to containment and part of the defensive scheme? Yes. I don't know that specifically to get anybody else loose. Like they're not doing it to get Chris his looks. Chris is, making his beats himself. But they are aware, especially against a guy like Allen, of how they rush with contain in mind.
Yeah, you saw it a bunch of times last night too.
There you go, Aaron. Listen to the wife. I'm just warning you. I've been down that road, bro. The couch isn't comfortable. A bigger concern, in my opinion, is Fournette and Rojo. I can see that. We got to keep them contained and force the other guy to try and throw the ball to Patrick. I would have said that too, except Rojo didn't do much. I don't think we saw Fournette at all. So maybe that's the thing, is having both of them. Rojo didn't scare me or really do anything to scare them in that first meeting.
If the Bucs want to run the football, be my guest. Go for it. You'll get down 3 touchdowns in a matter of a quarter. I've got no problems with you guys running the football. Yeah. None.
I mean, there was something, I can't remember who put the stat out, but like the Chiefs so far on possessions in the Mahomes era in the postseason are scoring 3.75 points per possession. So even if you do kick the field goal, you're still putting yourself in a hole.
Literally behind. That's what the Bills did last night. They put themselves behind by putting themselves ahead with a field goal. Like it didn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. Daryl, what do you think the score will be of the Super Bowl? I'm not ready to predict that yet. You will hear that from us.
You'll find out in that pregame show.
We will have the game plan the Friday before, like clockwork, guaranteed. But I will tell you this: the Chiefs will score 30. I'm not scared of the Bucs whatsoever. Pretty much okay. Good. Casey, Chiefs, we need to play. I absolutely agree with you, and I think that he will. So I'm not too worried about it. Let's see. Do you think that Sammy will be back? I feel like he will, but I can't say that for certain.
It's the Super Bowl. He's going to play.
I'm glad you said it. Neil, thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Do you think that the Bucs will get a lot of pressure on Mahomes? Do you like the Chiefs' chances to score 35 plus? 35 might be stretching it. I'll probably be in that range. But yes, they will get pressure on him. The key for me is, does he play with that plate in his foot again? Because I think that allows him to forego the turf toe issue and get out, because I think he will have options to escape.
Yeah, they're going to do some different things like move in the pocket like they did against the Bills that allows him to it allows the offense to be a little bit better in their protections as well. It does limit what he does with his eyes and his reads, but, I mean, we're talking about Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. They're going to get open.
Yeah, there will be opportunity. Snead would have led the team in sacks with a full season. Kid is a knack for getting to the quarterback. Yeah, possibly. Like, I didn't feel like Spags blitzed that much until recently. Maybe the last quarter of the season, so he might not have had that many opportunities. But you have a good point there, Chris. I think you're Chris. I'm gonna call you Chris.
Jesus is gonna call you Chris.
Right?
So it doesn't matter.
Or Morbian, I wish I knew. We talked about this last night, and I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Nobody knows.
There will be a reprimand for the ref, I think, for the crew anyway. Aaron, okay, you're talking about something that I'm not really following. I'm just. You're Aaron, so I'm clicking on you. Dave, how are you? Scotty Miller averages 1 catch per game over the last 5 games. That's a fair point. If he scores on all of them, though, it's a problem. I'm just saying. And I'm sure we'll talk.
He does have a point.
We'll talk about that tomorrow, Dave. I promise. Because that's what it's those guys. It's the creepy little dudes that get away from people that drive me nuts and make me nervous. I'm actually,
Scotty. I didn't say it. I didn't call you creepy.
I called you creepy. I don't give a shit. Sorry, folks. Dang. Caught me off guard. All right. I missed somebody's super chat. It is Eric Schneider's. Bucks susceptible to the jet sweep and reverse action. Could some big plays come for Hill and Hardman? Yeah. Over and over and over.
It doesn't matter who isn't, even if they're not susceptible to it. The Chiefs do so well with window dressing and movement pre-snap that it's going to happen. Like it's inevitable. The Chiefs' big play is inevitable, whether it's a huge play down the field or it starts behind line of scrimmage. It is inevitable.
Yeah, and honestly, it's what it's built on. It is how the whole things works. Let's see. Who else did I miss? Do I have Daryl's here? I think I'm getting to Daryl's. Okay, not as far behind as I had thought. Okay, Metal Rocker. How impressed with how Steve played against the Browns and the Bills in the playoffs? I agree that people say that he's a 4th round steal. Oh yeah, I mean, you redraft him, he's a 1st rounder. He might be in the top 15. I mean,
more than likely, especially he's played so well. And unfortunately, I think that he probably was more of a 2nd round pick. He didn't get a full season. That probably takes him down a little bit, just because if we extrapolate that over that full season, I think that he would have become more of a 1st round look in his eyes. Just kind of my thing.
Yeah. Lego, I don't think the Super Bowl outcome is what's determining whether Eric gets a job or not. Right now, after having interviewed with everything that's open, he either has one and they're waiting for him to finish his season, or he's not going to get hired. Unless somebody makes another firing for no reason, a month after the season ended for everybody else.
I'm going to go ahead and say Leslie Frazier's getting the Texans job. He just had his 2nd interview with them today. It just doesn't seem like it's in the cards for him this time around, and just
Leslie Frazier's a good coach too, you guys. And quite frankly, Deshaun says he doesn't care who the coach is; he wants out still. So why in the world would you take that job as an offensive coach?
It's not good. It's real bad.
Scott, it's a concern. I don't think that it's a worry. Like I said, you're going to have to do a few things that the Chiefs Kingdom isn't going to like. We're not going to talk about that tonight. But there are some other options. You can restructure a couple of the big guys to get underneath that number. I think they'll be able to get it done in decisions that might sting a little, but they'll be okay in the long run. Okay, Daryl, I'm back on track. Will Dan have a baby this year? If Dan has a baby, he's done something wrong. Hopefully his wife will have the baby.
No, we will not be having a baby this year. I already have one. I think that's going to be good for right now.
See, you're just one of those lazy people. You got to do them 2 at a time before I give you any credit. Oh, yeah. I'm a twin dad, folks. That was that. Cole, not sure if you saw this earlier. I feel like it was an extra point missed by the Bills kicker that swung the momentum. I mean, It certainly didn't hurt, but I think the guys who play offense and defense they're more frustrated when somebody messes up than concerned about what it means. But
the Chiefs were going down to score a touchdown there anyway, like with the extra point or without it. It was happening.
Yeah. Watch Nick's reaction to the Chiefs winning first things first. Okay, I'll check that out. I haven't seen that in quite a while. I know Nick's pretty animated though.
Yeah, he kind of bugged me though.
Yeah, well, hey. It is what it is. Everybody's got something they like. Avery, in honor of our great UDFA signings in the past, let me tell you to check Zaire Mitchell, from tight end from Notre Dame. Okay. And would be a great fit, in my opinion. It would be a UDFA. I'm all down with UDFAs. I mean,
does Notre Dame have like 5 tight ends coming out this year? He's like at least the 3rd different tight end that I know is in the draft from Notre Dame.
Well, you're lucky the Ohio State kids didn't come out. I mean, it'd be like a 2-school draft.
It's ridiculous.
Infopocalypse. Is there ever been a report of what is actually wrong with Schwartz's back? I have not seen one. Have you?
Nope.
And that's again what's scary.
That's what worries me.
So it is what it is. We won't know unless he says, hey, by the way, I want to go. But Andy said today that he is not optimistic. And Andy would know. I think, honestly, I think Mitch would be on the phone like, okay, screw it. It's a Super Bowl. I'm coming back. They'd know today if that was going to happen, I think. But
don't know. I know he's been trying.
I see Steenbeck's plays and is in position all the time, but how does he do it? He does it with his athleticism, and quite frankly, he's an instinctual player, so he has a tendency to cut off a route, which sometimes is guessing, and he does have to be careful about that because he gives up his leverage sometimes. But I mean, he's as quick in his change of direction as he is fast in terms of relation to the rest of his draft class. He was incredible.
Yeah, being able to make plays is being in the right position with your body, seeing and reading, and also, like I said, being instinctual. Like that's just kind of those guys that make plays like that, like the Honey Badger, they're instinctual. And his instincts are also built on knowing the game so well. He's got that vast wealth of knowledge. Right now, Snead is just using a lot of instinct, and it's hard to really quantify something like that because you just see it and you can't really explain why. It's just a synapse in their brain that says you need to do this right now, and they come away being in really good position. So
look at you, synapse. I like that.
That's just kind of how it is.
Wow. I'll take bodily parts for 500, Alex. Jeremy,
he just didn't have any targets.
Santana, we're happy for him too. We're both Pringle fans, so let's see him take over for D-Rob next year. Any chance of convincing your lockdown partner Chris to come on the show? You know, I would love that, Jeremy. He is not a fan of cameras. I'll keep working on him, and I'll let you know if I can convince him. Murphy's Law, welcome to the memberships. I think you're going to enjoy them. We certainly will talk enough trash. I'll tell you that. Matt Mitchell, yes. Let the man loose.
Hey, I said he was going to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. You got to give me something here.
Oh, no, you're doing fine. I'm talking about Andy. Let him play. Good God, just let him play.
Last night.
Yeah, that's true. Curtis, will we get DeAndre Baker back next year without having to sign him to a new, different contract? Yes or no. He will need a new contract because it was a 1-year deal. I don't think the playoff IR made him eligible for the restricted rights. I'll tell you the truth. It's a gray area. I haven't seen a ruling from the CBA, and evidently the CBA is 1,200 pages, and I haven't read it all, so I don't know.
I'm gonna let you guys know I'm not reading that. So
yeah, so we'll know when they make a decision. But I think they'll get him back one way or the other, and that's what I was trying to say yes to. Andy H, as always, just dial up the sausage. You got to have more sausage. Yeah, I know how you feel about that, and I agree. Let's get it done. Will Mahomes need surgery for his turf toe? We don't know the extent of it. Judging by the fact he was back within a week and he was playing with the plate and that seemed to work, I'm gonna guess probably not, but total guess.
You never know with Patrick Mahomes. He could be playing through a full injury that requires surgery. So only way we'll know is when they come out of the Super Bowl and say he needs surgery or he doesn't.
He might have a little cape with a big S on his big toe by the time we see him after the year. I don't know. Let's see. Ian, fun one. Over under on one Sherman TD.
If I'm going to have to pick one, I'm going to go under.
Fine, I'll take the over. I'll happily take the over. Warner's an RFA. Will he be cheap? Oh, if he's restricted, then yeah, I think they can put a second round tender on him and keep him. I don't think anybody's going to give anything up for him but you also have to consider, I'm not sure they're going to tender him at all. So, I mean, we don't know.
I think that he plateaued this year, in my opinion. Like he is what he is, and I don't think there's any more coming out of him. So I think it's just best to let him go.
Yeah, I have a tendency to agree with that. Dre, do you think that Chiefs are keeping DeAndre Baker staying on the roster next year? I think they'll have him back one way or the other. I'm not sure exactly the mechanism of how, but well, wait, Stu. Let me hit Stu's first. Is it just me, or do the actual Chiefs team we know and love show up in the playoffs? Yeah, what an idea, right? Like they were hibernating through the season. Is this the new norm? It is for a game, I think.
I mean, so there's an interesting thing if you go look back at the season split into 2 months, or 2 months each. So you have 8 games and 8 games. The Chiefs essentially just were blowing people out in the first 8 games. They had that one loss to the Raiders. They blew a lot of guys out. Second half of the season, they're like, okay, we got to kind of take some things back here. And if you look at the game splits there, that's when the games start getting closer. And granted, they have those quarters where they just explode, like against the Dolphins and against the Bucs, kind of take the gas off a little bit. So it's just kind of an interesting concept if you just look at it and say they came out really hot, and then they were like, we don't really actually need to do this the whole rest of the season. And maybe they started doing some different things with experiments and trying different plays, and now they're like, oh, hey guys, playoffs here, time to turn on, and they did.
Oh, light bulb. I guess we'll go. Works for me. Longmorn, I think the Bucs can run on the edges, off tackle, and jet sweeps. Yeah, I can see some of that. I feel like Fournette's better between the tackles still overall. For me, it's Rojo that's the X factor in the run game.
I'm not sure who you're going to run a jet sweep with that you're going to get more than 2 yards with.
Godwin, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, I know he got a first down with that, but our edges are much better contained than the Packers were.
I agree. Got Dre's. Scott, is Niang missed right now? I wish I could tell you. I don't know if he was any good to begin with. We're going to find out when he shows up.
I like Niang coming out, but you don't have a clue coming off the injury.
I will say this. I felt he played heavy. I think he will be more effective if he were lighter. I hope that he's taken that time to get in shape and he comes in lighter. I'll be very excited about that, to tell you the truth. Maximo, thank you for your sticker. Appreciate it. Frankie, will Hardman ever develop into a legit number 2? We're going to have to see. Like I said earlier, I think there is a maturity factor that is still going on with him.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I think that he does not have the tools to be a legitimate 2 in this offense. I think that Sammy Watkins type mold is what they need for a 2, and Hardman seems more. They only really use him on jet sweeps and quick outs, things like that.
Did I miss Daryl Miller's about having another baby this year? No,
yeah,
before
no, you got that one.
Okay, good. Do you see Kelsey having less impact in the Super Bowl than the Bucs' fast linebackers? It's from Immature Amateur. Thank you for the super chat. No, he ain't scared of no linebacker.
Neither is Mahomes.
No. Got Andy's got Longmorns. I think we're up to South Jag now. Okay, cool. Got it. I'm keeping up a little better, guys.
All right.
Let's go. Or wait, if I press the right button. South Jag, thank you for your super chat as always, and thank you for everything last night too. I know you said draft stuff here after the Super Bowl, but Landon Dickerson said it from Alabama. Thoughts? Man,
medical guys. That's all it is.
It's huge though.
Oh, it is exactly what I'm saying. If they check out, yeah, you draft him if you have the opportunity. If they don't, hands off for as long as you can wait.
It is a serious issue. Okay, we're going to skip ahead so I can get the super chats. Want to make sure everybody who super chatted, thank you very much. And if anybody has one that I missed, please let Aaron know. And everybody else, I will get to your questions as much as I can too. Eric Schneider, you are up next. Only Bryce Callahan and Xavier Howard have a lower passer rating against than Snead.
This is great.
And now go take a look at their salaries and you'll feel even better. Seriously, that is a big deal. Thanks for pointing that out, though, Eric. I hadn't looked at that. Ryan Carr, good to see you, too. Good to see you as well. Expect to see an entirely different defense this time against the Bucs. Go Chiefs. somewhat different. I wouldn't say entirely because I feel like the front was locking it down okay last time. They weren't mature in the blitzing, I didn't think.
No, and that's what the biggest difference is going to be Steve Spagnuolo's play calling and how they've done it, especially with a healthy Juan Thornhill can patrol the center of the field. If he can play center field, that's gonna open up Spags to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I agree. Max, do you think the 3-3-5 would be effective against the Bucs? I personally do not.
No.
They'll pull, they'll wham block, they'll do all kinds of things to eat that 3-man up.
Yeah, if you show them a 3-man front, here comes Leonard Fournette, here comes Ronald Jones. It's coming down. The Chiefs cannot really play run defense with that.
It would hurt. That's the best way to put it. AP Payne, thank you as always. Keep the banging videos. Thank you. Glad that you like them. Strange to feel like the Chiefs will always win as opposed to how they're going to blow it. It has been a turnaround the last couple of years, right? I mean, I was pretty optimistic when Alex was still the quarterback. And
I know.
And more credit to Alex every time he does something. I think he is going to play again personally. But to go from being a contender like they were in the 90s, where I felt really comfortable with always having that possibility to pop out and win, this is a whole different thing.
Yeah. It's completely different. They're really changing the way that a dynasty is viewed, and they did it really, really fast.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the cool thing is like it's about Patrick being the icing on the cake, right? It's not about going and drafting a franchise quarterback that has no line to block for him, Denver, or doesn't have enough, weapons. It's about team building in the best sense, I think. Sorry, I had to throw that out.
That was so good.
I feel bad for Drew Lock, man.
But really, drafting a franchise quarterback, you think that highly of Drew Lock?
I feel like he had the potential. I thought his upside could get him there. I'm not sure that's the case any longer. We'll find out. I think he could be broken confidence-wise.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Sam Darnold. I think he's got the tools, and I think that the Jets just said, we're going to throw you in the chipper.
Yeah, I feel for Sam because I felt like he never got his development at SC and like he could have. Yeah,
that's the biggest problem. He went from some place that didn't develop him to a place that might turn him backwards.
right. Good Lord. Maximo, I don't know if they're thinking about it. I think they'll take the hot hand. And I think, honestly, CH will work himself back into a little bit better rhythm. I think he'll probably get more snaps and more pitches.
He'll probably be a bit healthier, a little more spry in next game. Max,
would you take Kareem Hunt back? No. Never. I don't want the guy back, period. There's no reason for it either. Let's see. Curtis. Terry Bradshaw said, no team can flip the switch in response to Tony G. Someone needs to tell him that we just did. Yeah.
I did. Don't worry, guys. I got out in front of that this morning on Twitter. He doesn't have a Twitter, but I
was going to say, pretty sure Tony's telling him in person all over again. Harry, push things down the road instead of being able to make a clean, honorable break after last. Yeah, hey, we're not going to talk any more Kareem Hunt, folks. It's over. Just saying. Will we improve in the offseason, hold, or go backwards? If so, how much? Seems like rebuilding our O-line is going to strap our draft capital. I don't think so. I think everybody's going to take a step back, but you got to remember, everybody has to get under the cap, which means there are going to be some more quality free agents available than you have spots and salary to fill. So I think there's going to be a lot of deals available.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially because people are going to have to cut unless for some magical reason the cap doesn't go down as much as we think.
Yeah. Okay, let's see who else. Oh, we got another one from Murphy's Law. Welcome to the memberships, and thank you for that. I'm going to scan and see if you got a question too. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up tonight, folks, because we are well over the hour. And you know me, I'll just keep yakking forever, and the wife will be like, "What happened to you?" Let me hit this one from John, our original member. What are the odds of the Chiefs getting one of the free agent QBs as a backup?
I don't think they want to do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think Tiamo is going to be a guy back there that they want to develop a little bit.
Unless he gets COVID again.
Yeah, well, if he does that, then we may as well just ship him off somewhere else. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, the question is it going to be Henny or Moore? Yeah, I don't think they're both going to stick around at their salary levels in a COVID year. So that's it.
Whoever wants to take less.
Yeah. That's it for us tonight, folks. Thank you for everyone in the super chats. You new members, we'll have something for you tomorrow. And for you members, there's a playlist on the front page of the channel, and there's the community tab. That's where you can find out everything for the member list. Make sure you like and sub and hit the bell notification if you are not a sub around here already. And if you want to support the channel, you can always check out the RGR store. Dan, thanks for a second night in a row taking time.
No problem. I'm going to do it again tomorrow night. So it's lots and lots of Chiefs talk.
What an idea. Everybody, you have a great night. Enjoy your Tuesday. And members, we'll talk to you tomorrow night.